And just like that, it's week 31 of the golfing calendar, and this is the most listened to Australian golf podcast, Talk Birdie to Me. And we'd love it if you'd support our partners, just like they support us. Ping. You know they'll help you play your best. There's a reason why so many tour pros will only use Ping. You can see your local golf shop or professional and arrange a Ping club fitting. And the new Watch My Numbers app. It's the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play and play smarter and use your data. And the Golf Clearance Outlet, they're in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth, and online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. If you're after amazing prices on great golf gear, well worth checking out. Now, former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn and former tour pro Mark Allen. This is Talk Birdie to Me.
So, are you ready for some news?
Oh, please.
Because I've got some news.
Is this from a source?
This is from a source, not the source. Nothing to do with Scotty Scheffler's brother-in-law.
Just one of your many.
Yeah. Actually, I've got more sources than Grandma's kitchen. It is a joke. Anyway, this one is impeccable. And the news comes from the highest profile player at LIV. And that's all I can say.
Ooh.
So you can guess, you can do whatever you like.
Well, you got me thinking now.
All right? But it's come directly from his mouth. Now, this player wants everybody to get back together like everybody at LIV is what I'm told.
Okay.
Everybody wants to get back, best playing against the best more often. There are 3, maybe 4 big stumbling blocks.
Okay.
But the number one stumbling block is Al-Rumayyan. How do you say his name?
Al-Rumayyan. His Excellency.
Al-Rumayyan wants to be Jay Monahan.
Oh.
So.
Oh.
That is the big one.
He wants to be the commissioner.
And there is significant pushback that Yasir is going to be the new PGA Tour commissioner. Now, what would happen? I mean, I think that's an. I don't think you can. I don't think the Americans are going to let that one go through.
No, I struggle to see that they would let that go through. But yeah,
so
we're in a very interesting juncture right here, aren't we?
This is incredible.
Wow.
I mean, when I was told this, I knew that NASA wanted things to get back together. And, you know, Aramco, how do you say it? Aramco? Aramco in the background everywhere, which we understand. I get that because that's where the value is for Saudi Arabia. But there is just no way. There's just no way that Yasir can be the new tour commissioner.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
Right. And this news comes directly from this player's mouth.
Right, okay.
4 or 5 days ago.
Gosh. They're...
what would happen?
There's got a lot of discussions to come.
So you know the American players much, much better than I do. Much, much better. Would Tiger Woods allow that to happen? Because he's still right there. He's right in the middle of it all.
Probably not. But does Tiger... again, it comes back to... These things all have to come down to a vote, don't they?
Yeah.
If you're on the board, you're off the board. Who's on there, who's not?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you've shocked me a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I was shocked when I was told. So I played last Friday with this character, and he told me early in the round, because he's been really very good friends with this particular player for a long, long time.
Okay.
And they'd recently spoken. And it was spinning around my head for a long time because now I don't think it can happen. If that's something that has to be in play for everyone to get back together, that's not happening.
No. Well, the Strategic Sports Group, they're going to have a say in all this because they've put their, what have they put in, $1.5 billion?
With another 1.5 sitting on the bench.
To come once they come together?
Once they come together. That's right.
Do we solve the question of they put the 1.5 billion in as long as they come together, or is it the second 1.5?
No, the second time.
It's the second. So they've already got the 1.5.
No, I don't think they've got any money.
Oh, okay.
As yet. They were going to have access to $1.5 billion straight away, and there was going to be another $1.5 billion, but everyone had to get together.
Well, what I'm asking is, the first $1.5 billion, is that coming no matter what, whether they come together or not?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then the tour's in some.
Well, it's pretty
trouble.
much status quo then, isn't it? I mean, nothing's happening.
It's back to where they were before.
That's right.
Guys like Yasir, this guy, they're used to getting their own way. They're not used to people saying no to them.
That's right.
And he's got more money than many countries in the world, just himself personally.
That's right.
So if they dig in and say no, that can't happen, he'll dig in.
So let's get ready for some more shots across the bow, John Rahm style. Because I'm not sure whether you've been following what Greg Norman's been saying, because they had a LIV Golf in London this week.
Oh, yes.
He's been quoted in saying that a lot of players have got mofo, is what he said.
Right. As in
FOMO.
FOMO. I was going to say mofo.
What's a mofo?
It's a very different thing.
It's a very different. A lot of US tour players have got FOMO.
There we go.
Fear of missing out.
You got to stay up current with the lingo.
No, excuse me.
Your acronyms need a bit of work.
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
So Greg's on to it. I mean, if Greg is saying those sorts of things, they're fighting words.
Well, I don't know. The players on the tour at the moment, they're playing for more money than they ever have. So I think they're pretty comfortable with the situation on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
Going forward, who knows? But, yeah, gee.
Who would next be on their hit list, LIV's hit list, if they wanted another shot across the bow? I mean, the big one's Rory.
Well, right now, I would think Xander and Cantlay there was always their names floating about, and they almost were going to go across as a package deal, but probably not anymore because Xander's won 2 majors and Cantlay hasn't. But prior to Xander winning 2, there was always that discussion with those 2 players as they may not, especially Cantlay, because he hasn't been, I think, that enamoured by the tour and what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And he has Xander's ear, obviously, is probably one of his closest mates out there.
That's right. But to get another shot across the bow, John Rahm style, I mean, it can't be
Rory's.
It can't be Jonathan Vegas, for instance.
Well, Rory a while ago said, no, I'm not going to LIV ever.
He said he's definitely not going.
But so did John Rahm.
Yeah, that's right.
So who knows? Gosh.
Well, that was 2 years ago when this all started. There was
I've forgotten all about this stuff now because it's just been.
That's right.
The majors have been on and it's been fantastic.
That's right.
Business as usual. But now I suppose you got to talk about it.
But you think about at the start of the year when we had some information. I mean, it was on for young and old. Everyone was back together. We're talking. The talks were productive. But now we understand why talks are not productive anymore. Now, there's no hint of them getting back together.
Do you think they'd look at women's golf and try and just absolutely rip it apart?
That would
Nelly
be
Corder and just go for all these great women.
Yeah. Now that's if the PGA Tour versus LIV Golf was a game of chess, I think that's a big move. That's kind of takes the queen away from the PGA Tour almost in that game, because if the women did it. See, well, I mean, but would Yasir want to be the Jay Monahan of the LPGA Tour as well? I mean, does he want to run World Golf?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so let's say he ends up being Jay Monahan. All right. What would the Americans be worried about if he became? Would it just be many more tournaments around the world? Would that be it? Would it just be losing control of something that is theirs?
Potentially, yeah. That's
the obvious one.
Yeah. The talks were they were a monopoly and all this sort of thing in the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and as we know, the American players would love to stay in America and continue playing there. Travelling isn't not in their DNA, but it's something they don't mind doing every once in a while. But I was looking at hearing about the LIV schedule for next year, and they're expanding. They're going into several other countries. So it certainly is becoming the World Global Tour with, I think, we were hoping Adelaide might be the first one, as it turned out, but it's going to be the second. Yeah, they're going to Jeddah first, I think.
That's right.
Which It'll be interesting to see where that fits in with our Australian schedule here as well.
Yeah. Well, it's the second week in February is where it's being moved to.
Okay.
Yep. So I've seen that date. That's a beautiful date for golf in this country. The April date, footy in the NRL and AFL completely dominated. Even though LIV Golf was a huge success in Adelaide, it didn't knock the footy off the back pages around this country. Now, when it moves to February, you're going to see what happens there. And this is what we've been saying for a long time. This is certainly what I've been saying for a long time.
You love those dates.
That is the date. It's the date for golf. February is the perfect time for golf to take centre stage in this country. And you watch, it'll be bigger than ever, LIV Golf, in that date. Second week of Feb.
Yep.
Tennis is over. We're sick to death of cricket at that stage. We're sick to death of tennis at that stage, and golf will shine.
Yeah. It works, obviously, very well for the LIV players. It doesn't work well for... We've been talking about bringing our best player, because we're looking at Australian Open dates and things like that. It doesn't work well for the Aussies based in the US because it's in the middle of their season over there.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all for the girls.
Works great for the fans and everyone, which is ideal, and it'll work well for LIV.
But my argument is we've got to drag them down every year anyway. We've got to drag all these players down. They've all got their hand out for cash. I mean, let's just say it. I mean, they're making billions of dollars, these guys. I'm not so sure that all the South Africans are putting out their, getting their managers to be paid to play in the South African Open. I know Michael Campbell used to come back to the New Zealand Open for nothing, for zero. He would come back and play. Our guys have got their hands out. Now, I've been told how much they get. I'm not sure how much you used to get, Nick, or what the story was. I don't want to know.
No, we came to basically an agreement many years ago amongst the players that, look, let's all come back and support the home tour, and that's what most of us did. There was, I'm assuming, a couple that, was the best of the best, and they probably got a little bit on the side here or there, but, and obviously Greg Norman was front and centre for that. He started all that down here, and rightly so, because he drove the game of golf.
Well,
but,
he was Tiger Woods before Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods. But what he did for the Australian tour was unmatched.
Yeah. But I was in a time when there was... It's funny, I was looking at some of the results the other day. I'm thinking, gee, there's only 3 Australians playing on the PGA Tour this week, or only 3 in Europe, whereas when I was playing, there was a dozen of us.
That's right.
We dominated President's Cup team. Half the team was almost Australians in one of them that I played in.
Actually, did you see how many Australians were playing in the Senior Open?
Senior Open.
That's what it used to be like.
Yeah. Well, it's all the guys that I grew up with playing, and Mark, if we weren't doing the pod, I'd probably be over there with them.
Well, I want to read out. I mean, if you didn't follow it closely, you would never know. But once it just loads here in a second, I reckon there might have almost been 20 players.
Close to, yeah. I'd say
20 Australians playing.
Well, if you count the New Zealanders, it was probably almost 20. Yeah, for sure.
Australasians.
Yeah,
20. I reckon there were 20 Australasians playing. So I'll get those names in.
And we had one of them almost win it.
So tell me this. I'm going back to the Australian Open date. Okay. I think it's a pain in the ass to get them down here anyway, in that date. So if it's going to be a pain in the ass to get them down there in November, and it's still going to be a pain in the ass to get them here in February, well, it's a pain in the ass. It's bad luck. But at least
you got more chance though later in the year for our top Australian players to come back down. February, no. It's just so hard to get the guys back now.
You're putting a real spanner in the works with that second week of Feb date with romantic Valentine's Day dinners.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, how are you going to fit it in around that?
Don't worry about Valentine's Day. All right, are you ready for the amount of players who are playing in the British Open Senior Tournament?
Bring it on.
You count, okay? Richard Green.
Who finished second?
Greg Chalmers. John Sendon. Michael Long. Michael Campbell. Scott Hend. Rod Pampling. Jason Norris. Michael Wright. Peter Fowler. He's about 100 years old, Pete. Peter O'Malley.
They were the 10. There was 10 there that made the cut.
Yeah. Peter O'Malley. Stephen Allen, cousin. Stuart Appleby. Peter Wilson went over and played. Mark Hensby.
Oh, good.
How many is that?
15. You were close. You were close. That's still a lot.
It's a good amount.
I wonder if I missed any.
And on the Champions Tour each week, there's basically 8 or 9 Australians plus a couple of Kiwis.
Yeah.
So what's the point you're making with the number there? What's the point?
Well, the point I'm making is on the back of Nick's point, where there used to be a hell of a lot of players playing in the European Tour and the US Tour back in the day. Now, we're trying to do the right thing here with opening up some pathways, and we're seeing Micheluzzi do well at the moment. I just think there needs to be we're dancing all over the place here. I just think there needs to be 4 tournaments in February that is an Australian swing every single year on the DP World Tour. And I don't think I've got to the point.
I would love that. Trust me. I would love that. I think that would be great.
Yep. It's got to the point where, it's a long way to come down here, and to come down here for 1 tournament, maybe 2, it's probably not enough.
Have you been watching the Olympics, boys?
Certainly have.
Yeah.
And I am fascinated by every sport that comes on the TV.
Incredible.
The synchronized diving, the
poor girls.
kayaking, the rowing.
Kayaking
I'm cheering for
was
people
incredible.
I don't even know, but it's fantastic. You see the green and gold and you can't help yourself.
Yeah.
You see the skateboarder a couple of nights ago?
Oh, she was brilliant.
14 years old.
I know.
Chloe something or
She
other.
came really close too. Had a
Kept
good
on
chance.
falling off though, Chloe.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Jeez.
I wonder how she'll go
You're
when she's
harsh.
18.
You're harsh.
Well, you got to stay on the skateboard. That's the number one thing you got to do.
No, I get it. But
When's the golf start?
The golf starts, the men 1st of August, which is Thursday, and then the women 6 days later on the 7th of August. They start on a Wednesday.
Le Golf National.
What are your thoughts
Which is-
about golf being in the Olympics, Nick?
I like it. I would have loved to have played for a gold medal. Good buddy of mine and person we've had on the podcast, Todd Woodbridge,
Yeah.
won a gold medal 1996 after getting arrested.
Yes. A mighty effort.
After getting arrested. And I remember him telling me quite a while back, because he works a bit for Tennis Australia, and he'd go do things at schools for young kids and do a lot of exhibitions and chat with them and all that. And he'd bring out the Wimbledon trophies that he's won and things like that. The one they all loved the most was the gold medal.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? So I hate the golf in the Olympics.
Really?
And I hate tennis in the Olympics.
I think it's fantastic.
I hate it.
Okay.
Because,
I didn't dream of
No.
growing up to play it because that just wasn't an option for
Yeah.
us. It was all about the 4 majors.
And I don't like golf or tennis in the Olympics because I feel like it's the other sports' time to shine. Like you're saying, you're watching all these crazy sports you've never seen before. It's their time to shine. Pretty soon the golf's going to turn up. And, it's just another week of golf. It's another week where the superstars of the world get to shine in golf, men and women.
I'll tell you what was fun was watching Nadal and Alcaraz the other night play
how'd
doubles.
they go?
tennis. Well, they only watched the first round and they beat an Argentinian pair who were like the 6th seed, and Alcaraz and Nadal. What are they calling them? Nadalcaraz or something.
Nadalcaraz,
I think
that's
they
good.
were
That's
calling
good.
them that. And the passion they were showing was phenomenal. It was like a full-on Davis Cup tie again, back in the day. It was really good. And they won.
I've got a theory, and Nick, it sounds like you won't agree with this theory, and Mark, maybe you will. I have a theory that I don't think any sport should be in the Olympics if that is not the pinnacle of that sport.
Sure. I understand that. Yeah.
So that means soccer's out.
Soccer's out, tennis is
Tennis
out, golf's
is
out.
Okay.
I think basketball stays in. I think an Olympic gold would probably be better than a World Cup
Yeah.
in the FIFA World Cup sort of stuff.
Speaking of the soccer, did you see the Matildas the other night?
Oh, my gosh.
What a comeback that was from 2-5 down.
2-5 down to 6-5 win. Incredible. They won 6-5.
Yeah, I know.
It was bizarre.
I know.
What a game that was.
Crazy. I want to get Marcus Fraser on at some stage.
Oh, yes.
Because Marcus Fraser shot a 63. He shot 63 in the first round in Rio.
He did.
And it was at the time, I'm pretty sure he still is, the Olympic record holder.
Course record holder?
Yeah, for
could
the
be.
lowest ever score in golf.
Could
I think
be.
They had golf in the Olympics like 100 years ago.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that could be. Well, they're playing Le Golf National, which is where they had the Ryder Cup a few years back, where the Europe just decimated the US. I used to play the French Open there year in, year out. It's a great spectators course, very much an amphitheatre style finishing, and I think that record someone will go really low there. I think.
Yeah. And the other thing too, by the way, I reckon they could have had men and women as a team. We could have had a team.
Totally.
I don't know why they didn't do that.
Have 2 medals up for grabs, an individual and a team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think throw the 4 of them together.
And why are they playing a week apart? I mean, why?
Yeah, I don't know why they're not.
Put them all together.
Must be the field size, maybe. I don't know how many people are playing. So
Yeah, well,
can't be that big,
I
though.
don't like that. You know, they should have had a men's and women's, medal
Well,
somehow.
maybe. We just need to, because there's 2 Americans defending, Xander and Nelly, who both won gold.
Yeah, well,
in
they would
Tokyo.
have. I guess I see what you're saying. They would just. They ate it up.
They're
They
pretty-
get another
they're
gold
pretty
medal
handy.
just for nothing. Anyway.
Oh, that's the hotline ringing there.
Mark Allen and Nick O'Hearn, Talk Birdie to Me hotline. Hello.
This is Tim from Geelong.
Oh, g'day, Tim. Nice to have you on the show.
Hey, Tim.
Thanks for having me. I was just listening to the feedback session last week, and you're talking about Geelong courses, and I just wanted to know if Mark needed a geography refresh on the Geelong region. He seems to think that Geelong finishes at Barwon Heads.
No. Well, why are you saying this for, Tim?
Here we go.
I liked him.
So do I.
Well, there's some nice courses a bit further away than Barwon Heads than Geelong, and they're not that far.
Which ones?
So in particular, I'm thinking about Lonsdale Links. Now, I do have a little bit of bias here. It is my home club, but you're often pumping up the OCM boys and their designs, and Lonsdale Links was completed in 2020, and it's actually the first 18-hole design for OCM in Australia. So I thought, now that it's ranked number top 20 in your favourite rankings, Mark, that it is definitely worthy of a mention.
Yeah, well, those rankings don't carry any weight anymore, unfortunately, Tim.
Definitely worthy of a mention.
Well, Tim, I've never played it. Now, I've seen photos of it, and it does look fabulous, and I hear different opinions about Lonsdale Links.
It's on my bucket list too. After seeing what's going on down there,
well,
for
maybe
sure.
we should go down and play.
Yeah, but in my defence, I'm a West Australian. Originally, I'm now living in Melbourne, so I don't know all the courses over that way. But funnily onsdale I am going over there in November because the National Australian Left-Handers Golf Association Championship is happening at Lonsdale Links.
Are you their patron saint of the championship?
I'm a bit of a patron for it, being a lefty. But the thing is, can you imagine a golf course just full of left-handers?
That would be very strange.
It would be very weird. So I'm going to go over there. It's sometime in November, right, Tim? They're taking over your course.
I'm not sure when it is, but we do have a member who is a left-hander, and he's played in about 50 of the World Left-Handers Championships.
Oh, wow.
So you'll be in good company.
So, Tim, tell me this. Before OCM got there was a Lonsdale Golf Club. How big is the improvement?
It was. So our centenary was actually just in 2022. So it's been around for a long time. But the course was a little bit of a sandbelt course and a little bit lengthy, and it was a bit mixed up. And because of distance problems, we had to close certain holes because of balls going into houses. But for the first time, we were able to totally rebuild the 18 holes and bring the sort of 3 distinct areas of the property together as one to make it all sort of joined up. So if you want to sort of do a bit of a comparison, it's got a little bit of Portsea about it through the Moona trees, but it's a lot more open than Portsea. But the terrain is very similar, very undulating. You get down on the lake, bit of play near the dunes, but overall firm, fast conditions. But what stands out is the thing that OCM really wanted to do is build something different. So it's got really large rectangular and square greens, lots of internal slope, which hasn't been done anywhere in Australia. So they've inspired it by the McDonald courses and the Rayner courses, and in particular, they feel like the landscape's very similar to Long Island in New York. So that's where a lot of the inspiration came from. So it's very different, but I also appreciate not everyone's cup of tea because it's got that little bit of quirk about it.
Right. Well, look, I don't mind a bit of quirk on a golf course, and I've heard good things about Lonsdale, so I've got to get down there at some stage. But no offence, Tim, I just haven't played it yet. That's all.
Well, just spread your wings a bit further. I know you don't like long drives, Mark. So
I do like long drives.
There's a double dig there.
Tim has lined you up. That's
I do like long drives. Good on you, Tim.
You can call back any time. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks for listening to the pod.
Thanks, Tim.
He's a good man. I should go down, and we should go down.
We should go down.
We should go down and have a look.
I'll be down there in November. So.
That's a long time away. That's a long time.
We'll get down there before then.
Rightio. Well, let's take a break. You just digest that news about Yasir wanting to be Joe Monahan. I still can't get past it. Yeah, I think it's dead in the water now. If that's the stumbling block, that's too big a block.
I can't see the tour.
No.
Accepting those terms.
No, it won't happen. And if the tour doesn't accept that, then they won't get the money from the Strategic Sports Group.
Maybe it could be an honorary role or something like that. I don't know.
That's what
if that's
that's
what it
not
takes.
silly. I mean, maybe he just gets on the board.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that was all
being the
part
ch-
of it. I think he was on the board anyway if he was going to do it.
So the chairman's okay.
That was a no-brainer.
If you're the chairman, you're running it anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
Boys, party pies are ready. Kettle's boiled. Let's go and grab something.
See you on 10.
Thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me, and if you're up for it, we'd love you to subscribe, rate and share the podcast wherever you listen. And thanks to our great partners who make the show possible, Ping, they'll help you play your best, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world, and the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Now, back to Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Okie doke, that pie was magnificent. I didn't have a party pie this one, I had a big one. It's bloody good.
Straight into it.
Superb. And a coffee. A bit cold down here at Golf Headquarters where we record every single week. And a big thank you to Upstairs here for letting us do so.
The car park's still full, even on a cold and rainy day.
Yeah, we'll talk about new courses. Sandy Golf, it's a mini Royal Melbourne. If you haven't played Sandy Golf yet, it is a beauty, an absolute ripper.
Do you see how many people are in the driving range out there today?
Yeah, stacks.
It was
crazy.
chockers. Incredible.
It's crazy.
Yep.
It is crazy. Okay, your turn for this week's Top 5.
Top five.
Yes, and this week's top 5. I don't know if you watched any of the LIV Golf, Mark, but there was a bit of an altercation with John Rahm and the gallery. They were playing LIV London, and it kind of got me thinking, what's my top 5 going to be this week? And I thought, what about the top 5 most famous gallery interactions?
Yes.
Because John had an interesting interaction with the fans and his caddy.
What happened to Golf But Louder? What happened? That's gone out the window, hasn't it?
Well, John obviously didn't read the fine print.
No, he did not.
I don't know. That's just to be expected, I would imagine.
He ended up winning, didn't he?
He did.
No, I
He
don't want to go early in the big global
he went
results, so
very
I
early.
apologise.
That's okay. He got his first LIV golf win, so well done, John. But it got me thinking about a top 5. And why not? Let's go down this road. And these are a little all over the shop, but I think we're going to go number 5 to begin with. I don't know if you watched the Masters this year, and on the 12th green, last Ryder Cup captain, Zach Johnson, had an interesting interaction with the gallery back behind, you can't call them gallery, the patrons behind the 12th tee, where he told them to go somewhere. And the mics all picked it up.
Tell them to go forth and multiply.
Exactly. a bit of mofo. And
he denied that for a long time. It was just so ridiculous.
And then the audio came out.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We know exactly what you did.
Happened.
Yeah. Anyway, number 4, the first green in the match between Rory McIlroy and Patrick Reed in the Ryder Cup several years ago. I think it wasn't Medina, it might have been Hazeltine or something like that. I can't remember, but Rory held an absolute bomb and went off at the crowd. He was holding his hand up to his ear, yelling, screaming at the top of his lungs, "I can't hear you," and all this sort of stuff. And then Reed just bombed it straight back in on top, gave him the finger up saying shush and all that, and it was just brilliant.
It was good golf the whole way through.
I just remember that that was some of the best crowd interactions that I've seen. So that's my number 4. Number 3, a bit of a tough one, I guess, with Colin Montgomery, your favourite player over the years. He used to get called Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, that's right.
Quite a bit. And especially, I remember the 1999 Ryder Cup at Brookline, where more often than not,
do you know the story there?
They threw that out. Yeah, go on, tell me.
So there's a bloke in the crowd, because it was in New York, and the crowds were into him all week. And what he would do if there was a wait, he would march to the front of the tee. Anyway, there's a guy in the crowd. There's a long wait. He's going, "Hey, Monty!" And Monty wouldn't look around. And he kept on going, "Hey, Monty!"
Yep.
Right? And he wouldn't move. Anyway, he decided to change tact.
Okay.
And the same guy goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Montgomery." And Monty turned around and the bloke yelled out, "Show us your tits!"
Oh, no.
It's a true story.
Oh, dear.
It's a true story.
Oh, dear.
And apparently the crowd, there's never been more laughter in a golf crowd in the history of time.
Yeah. He would have hated that.
Oh, they used to get stuck into Monty so much over there. And I think he had his friend David Ferrety to thank for coming up with the Mrs. Doubtfire moniker.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
Him. So
he did for a long time needed a man's ear.
Yeah.
Or the bro.
Yeah, unbelievable ball striker though. Incredible.
Well, one of the greatest ever ball strikers.
Yeah, he was an absolute flusher. Yeah, and when he dominated round Wentworth too. I remember him winning that by 7 or 8 shots a couple of times. It was incredible how well he played round there. Anyway, number 2, 1986 US Open, Greg Norman, where he went into the gallery.
Into the crowd.
And tried to point out certain people. And did he grab someone by the scruff of the neck or something?
He challenged the bloke to a fight.
Yeah, okay.
In the car park
afterwards.
In the car park after the round.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that's a tough one, that one. So
that's Greg at his best.
Greg,
right there.
yeah. And I tell you what, yeah, I would have backed Greg too. Well, he's pretty fit as a fiddle. Well, even these days.
That was the year that he got the 3rd round Grand Slam, where he was leading every major after 3 rounds.
Funnily enough, and he became the 54-hole commissioner, right? So there's a bit of synchronicity in that, isn't there? That's interesting. All right, and number 1 for the most famous gallery interactions, it could be none other than Happy Gilmore and Donald, right?
So good. What was he saying? Something about Jackass?
Go on, Dan. I know you've got these quotes.
Jackass was always there, which was great. There's a whole bunch of them. One of them was, hey, Gilmore, you suck, you jackass.
That was a standard.
Yeah, that was a standard one. There was, you're going to need a blanket and a suntan lotion because you're never going to get off that beach, just like you never made it to the NHL.
Yeah.
Jackass.
I love it.
And they always do Jackass really fast. You jackass.
Yeah. And I love the fight he had with the game show host too. I thought that was brilliant. What was that guy's name? Was Bob someone?
It was so good.
Might have been
Bob could go too.
Family Feud or whatever he was.
Bob could go. He rolled up his sleeves and just went to town.
He went out in.
Is Shooter McGavin still chasing that elusive major?
Well, hang on. Isn't Happy Gilmore 2 about to come out?
There's meant to be another one.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, no, I don't think they've filmed it yet, but
it's in the works.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be good.
It'd be so good.
What's he going to play the seniors to? You reckon
he'll have to.
That might have to go down as the longest time between first movies and a second movie, right? Did it go close?
Yeah. Well,
although there's actually so my daughter and I mean, this is totally off tangent. We watched Gladiator the other night for the first time.
How good?
The only reason being is because there's a new Gladiator coming out.
Hang on, you'd never seen Gladiator?
No, I had. I'm saying my daughter hadn't.
Yeah, okay.
And afterwards she said, that was such a great film. I said, I know, I've been watching this for years.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the new one's coming out soon.
I've got very bad memories of Gladiator.
Really?
I watched it with my 2 boys. They were very young at the time. I thought, you're going to love it. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
And they were in tears and terrified. And you don't think my wife gave it to me the next when she came home. She was out at the time.
Irresponsible.
Yeah. I was.
Can't show 4 and 5-year-olds that sort of
No,
show.
it wasn't good.
Top 5 Father of the Year moments right there. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, feedback time.
Let's go.
Righto. Bryce has commented on your conversation about links golf last week. The question, would you like to see more links golf?
Okay, yeah.
And Bryce has said, I'm currently playing in Scotland. Today, I'm playing the Holy Grail, Askanish. Tom Morris designed course. The more links courses, the better. Is that the course on an island, or am I got that mixed up?
Could be.
No, but
could be. No, that's Old Head, isn't it?
I think it's Old Head.
Yeah.
But that Ashkenich, it's not many people know about it. It's a very
one of the oldest in the world or something.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Well, Bryce is over. Maybe he's on a tour playing.
I'm sure Gary Lisbon would know actually.
Pete has said 4 per year ending with the Open would be perfect. Any more than that, and they might lose their allure, and the Americans would not stand for it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I watched much more of the Legends British Open than I did the other 2 tournaments this week. I mean, I caught the end of Johnny Vegas.
I was the same. Yeah.
I watched a lot of Carnoustie this week.
And the other person calling for more links golf was John Rahm before the British Open, so he could get some links golf reps in. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for LIV Golf to be over there.
Or someone who's not calling for more links games is Darryl Lynch. Darryl has said, there's too many already. I find links courses boring and unattractive. Give me a dog leg around trees and water any day.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, that maybe says more about Darryl than... No, everyone loves whatever style of golf you love. I just love the links golf.
Yes, you are lining up our listeners,
No,
Nick.
I'm not. I'm only kidding.
It's good.
It sounds like
do more of it.
Darryl. I reckon Darryl sounds like a good bloke, and you're having a go at him.
Yeah.
Mark Ayres has said, hey, guys, watching the Senior Open at Carnoustie on the practice area, Langer and Bjorn both using long putters, I call them cheat sticks, and both clearly anchoring against their chest. These guys are ripping the piss. When will they get penalised?
Well, Nick, you use the long putter for a long time.
Many
I reckon
times.
you'd be in a good spot to know when they're using it incorrectly these days.
Sure.
Can you see?
You can see when it's pressed up against their shirt. Someone who won a tournament the other day, Marcel Seam, a few weeks ago, I thought, yep, no, he's using that fairly. There was a couple of times I thought, oh, no, okay, that looks all right. But you can tell. And then there are some where you go, oh, hang on, he's anchoring the
What's
heck
he
out
doing?
of that. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I stopped, because I didn't like unanchoring and I felt uncomfortable with people thinking, is he anchoring or not?
That's right.
I didn't want anyone questioning me.
And thankfully, our boy, Adam Scott, he does it
He does it very well.
He does it. It's
He's not even
miles
touching
away.
the shirt.
That's miles away, and I reckon that's a conscious thought because that's the sort of kid he is, Adam Scott. He a lot of people gets a bad rap, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he's one of the best blokes you could ever meet.
Yeah.
Ever in your life. He's a ripper. And the fact that he's holding it so far away from his chest gives you a real indication of the human being that he is.
And you know how many majors he's played? 93, I think it was.
Yep,
how many? So he's trying to get up to the record for President's Cups because he just moved into the top 6 automatic.
Oh,
how many President's Cups do you think he's played?
Every
Just
2
take a
years.
guess.
So I'm going to say he's been around for 20. I'm going to say coming up to 10.
Yeah, he's played 10 and coming up to 11.
Coming up to 11,
if he
wow.
qualifies. Now, the record's held by Phil, who's played in 12, and that'll never go on because he's on LIV now. So
that's right.
Anyway.
Got a comment here on your comedy from last week, Mark.
That was a good joke.
No more jokes, please.
Wayne has said, heard the joke. I laughed so hard I nearly crashed on the ring road. Brilliant, Marco.
Yeah, very pleasurable. Glad you liked it.
Go You Good Thing has said, Marco, it sounds like you're using the podcast to launch a comedy routine at next year's Fringe Festival.
Yeah. Well, I did come in prepared. I've got one more if you want it. So it's up to you. I'll continue, and if you want it, I'll give it to you.
We'll decide later on, Nick. You can have the deciding vote on that, I think.
No.
Trevor has a question. Mark, I'm wondering if you could get KJ Choi on, as I know you used to love him back in the day doing your other golf show.
Well, we've got a direct line to KJ Choi, and that is through Steve Bann, who listens. G'day, Steve. I would love nothing more than get KJ Choi on this program because I won that much money on that guy in winning tournament. I mean, he is paid for my home almost.
Well, you should get him on.
I would love to get KJ on.
He's a great. He was my he was partner for me in one of my President's Cup matches.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good bloke.
Lovely. Really good.
So we got two direct.
Yeah.
Mate, forget about Steve Bann.
No, we'll go through Banny. I don't have his number. I'm just saying.
Well, so we're saying bonus pod with KJ Choi?
If we can get him.
It'd be interesting to see between him and Miguel Angel Jimenez who you can understand the more.
Oh, okay.
Because Miguel, I listen to Miguel and I'm not exactly sure what he just said. I know Radar Wayne Riley has done interviews with him, and he's asked him a question, and at the end of it, he's thought, I got no idea what he just said. I better ask him something else. So.
Yeah. Can I tell a story about him? This is before he had the ponytail. So I'm practicing at the Carnoustie Open Championship, and there were so many golfers practicing on the Tuesday. We're all very close together. Now, I'm telling you, he was right in front of me, and his backswing at that stage was so far on the inside, I felt like he was going to hit my Titleists away.
Okay.
So I said to him, mate, could you just move a little bit further on? And he looked at me, and this Spanish came out of his mouth like I was the devil. So I didn't say anything else.
It was Spanish or was it English?
It was savage Spanish.
Really?
Now, I've grown to love him, but geez, I didn't like him much at the time. I was shocked.
Miguel's a good guy. I'll tell you a story from Miguel. So our season-ending event was at Valderrama, funnily enough.
Right.
And I remember
on the
European tour, and I remember a rain delay one year where a final round or third round, I can't remember, and everyone had to come into the clubhouse and all this, and we're in the players' lounge, and they've said, right, okay, everyone come on, out you go, and I was sitting at a table, and then as I got up, I looked over and I see Miguel. He's halfway through a bottle of Rioja and a steak.
Are you joking?
And I said, Miguel, you're about to, we got about to go 20 minutes. He says, just give me a few more minutes. I got to finish my wine and my steak. And he basically went through almost a bottle.
Jeez.
During the rain delay, and he got the cigar going as well. And
what was the rain delay? About a couple of hours or an hour?
Might have been an hour, something like that. We're back out there playing. But that's just the guy that he is.
It's a mighty effort.
He's brilliant.
Kevin has a question. Well, it's not really a question. It's more a comment on last week's pod. He thinks we missed a notable point. Guys, Re your rundown of the Open Championship. I was surprised you didn't mention Justin Rose had to play through qualifiers to make it to the Open. It was a great result, I reckon.
Yeah, we did miss that considering where he finished in the tournament.
It was a fantastic effort.
Isn't it wonderful when you see what a championship means to somebody, where a player of his ilk, who's a US Open champion and has done so much in the game, in Ryder Cups, and just a wonderful human being from what I can tell. I've never met the bloke. But, to stump it up and get over there and go through 2 rounds of qualifying and...
Yeah, he said that
it's brilliant.
He thinks he's got one more in him, and he came very close.
Well, he's in next year.
Yeah.
He's done well enough to get an invite back next year.
And there was a lot of players, well, not a lot, but a few players on that LIV tour who didn't go and qualify, and they had the opportunity to.
That's right. So, there's even the bloke who has an Australian caddying for him, hello Malcolm Baker, who couldn't be bothered, going through the last 2 stages of the US Open.
It's a shame.
Tim called through on the hotline before about Lonsdale Links, and Damien also agrees with him. Damien has said Lonsdale Links is the best value golf membership around Geelong. So there you go.
Okay, good to know.
That is good.
And one final bit of feedback here. This is, it's not really a crack, but it's directed at me. Daniel has said, "Hey, third man, just writing to let you know and your daughter that the Trump story about his ex-wife being buried on the golf course for tax benefits is incorrect."
Ooh.
And he sent me a link there that sort of debunks the story.
Oh.
It's correct she's buried on the course, but it's not correct that he got tax benefits. So, not that I want to do anything that makes Trump look good, but I do think it's worth correcting that.
Well,
fair enough.
You don't have to make too many retractions in this world, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no, that's right. Now,
very cool.
Last bit of feedback, which is homework for you guys.
Okay.
Because we've had a lot of feedback this week, and so we're going to do a bonus pod later in the week.
Another one.
This is, because we've got so much. This is some homework, not for now, but to think about for the bonus pod later in the week.
All right.
Wayne has said, Nick and Mark, I would love you to name your top 5 Australian golfers since 1980, male or female. Mine are Norman, Webb, Scott, Ogilvy, Senior, but I'm keen on yours. That's your homework. Don't answer it now.
Okay.
We'll do that in a bonus pod a little later in the week when we look at a bunch of
Since when, 1980?
Since 1980. Male or female?
Okay.
That's the feedback, guys.
Okay.
Ping Global results. Here we come again. The Senior Open. I'm going to start with the major of the week, the Senior Open at Carnoustie, where John van der Velde was playing, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, he did play.
Oh, how'd he go? Do we know? I'll find out.
No, I know how he went. He didn't make the cut. And the second, he shot a good first round. He was 3 over after the first day. The cut was, I think, 7 over par. Yeah. But he had a horrible front 9 on the Friday. But as it turned out, he did beat his score on 18.
Oh, that's good.
That he did in 19. If he'd have shot the score he had on 18, he would have won in 1999. And you know what he had? He made a double instead of a triple.
He made a double instead of triple. Do you know he did a commercial for Cobra?
Oh,
and
was it with a?
It was with a putter.
Putter, yes.
So not long after, this is how good a sport he was. He went back there and he hit off with his putter. I mean, the Barry Byrne is...
How are you going to get over with the putter?
Like, there's a couple of places where you've got to, do well.
Yeah.
Anyway, he ended up making a 6. First go with his putter only. And when he holed it, he looked at the camera and said, I can't believe I just made a 6 with a putter. And, it was... That's how he's a great bloke. I was always staggered he didn't commentate. He had a great
I think
knowledge.
He does a bit over there for European.
Okay.
Trying to remember the name.
He should be a main commentator, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a bit over there. It might be like Canal Sports or something like that.
Yeah. There's a few blokes he could replace on that European coverage. And I reckon I would much prefer hearing from Van der Velde.
Yeah, he'd make a good accent, actually. Yeah. I like that. Anthony Wall's great over there. He's very good. Very sharp-witted.
I love radar on the course.
Funnily enough, we almost had a Van der Velde moment on the final hole because KJ Choi had a 4-shot lead playing the final hole over Richard Green, who he was playing with. Now,
what happened?
Well, KJ hit it right off and look, the tee shots, do you hit driver, don't you? It was straight downwind. Commentators were sort of saying, well, if you're going to make it a 3-shot hole, let's play 5-iron off the tee. But he hit a 3-wood, which is a bit of a nothing club. It was sort of almost in between. Blocked it straight right, gets a soft bounce, and they'd grown a little bit of rough up. It stops 1 foot short of the burn.
You're kidding me.
Now, remember Van der Velde, he bounced over the burn?
That's right.
Okay. So they're basically in the same spot. They got 250 yards. And the commentators were all just laughing, going, well, it's 9-iron, okay? It's wedge or 9-iron.
That's right.
And if you're the caddy, give him the wrong yardage. Say it's 350 yards. Not
here's your wedge.
Here's your wedge.
Give him the wedge and walk down the fairway.
You know what he did? He pulled out the 9-iron.
Good.
And knocked it on, made his bogey, and ended up winning by 2 because Richard Green holed a bomb on the last for a birdie. Yeah, and this thing was moving too. It was a good thing it went in because otherwise it might have forced him back into a tie for second. But well done to KJ. That's his first senior major win. And as you know, he was coached by our good friend Steve Bann.
I wonder, I know you don't have these details, but I wonder if Richard Green has performed the best of all the senior golfers in the majors this year. I know that there is another player who's won 2, but if you added up all the scores, Richard Bland has won 2 senior majors this year.
Well, I did look into Greeny's record, as in he's played 5 majors because there's 5 on the Champions Tour. Yeah. He's had 2 seconds, a third, a 14th, and a 17th.
That's right.
He hasn't finished outside the top 20.
So I think Blandy's only played. I think he's only played in 2 and won both.
So,
but of all the other golfers, I wonder whether Richard Green has actually performed the best in the 5 majors.
I think he would have the best record. Yeah, I don't know the exact.
Of all the players who have played in all 5 majors. I'm pretty confident Greeny would have the best results.
He had a good chance to win this one too. He had the lead because Choi started the day 1-shot lead over Greeny, but he got off to a bad start. He was 3 over early, and Greeny had the lead by himself for a few holes. And then Choi went on a run. He was 6 under through 6 holes, had 4 birdies and an eagle from the 9th hole onwards, and just put the foot down and away he went. So it was a great effort.
I just checked the year that Patrick Harrington won, was that 2007?
7. Mm-hmm.
So Richard Green shot 64 in the last round. You think about that, the way it's set up for
Did he really?
He shot 64 in the last round to finish tied 4th. And KJ finished tied 5th. So 2 guys who play that golf course quite well have performed,
I didn't
almost
know
20 years later.
I didn't know Greeny finished that high up. That's fascinating. I played that year, but I missed the cut, so I didn't really care after that.
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
Funny how that works, yeah. But as you mentioned earlier, Mark, there's a large Aussie contingent, and the cut was +7. The best of the Australasians was Greeny, who finished 2nd. Steve Alker tied 5th. He's just a machine, that guy. Greg Chalmers tied for 17th, another good week, and John Sendon tied for 37th. On the PGA Tour across the pond, they were playing the 3M Open at TPC Twin Cities in Minnesota, where Jonathan Vegas 2-putted from 96 feet on the final hole.
Did you see his second shot in?
I did. Pulled the hell out of a 7-iron.
Do you reckon it was a pull fat? Because normally a pull goes a lot
longer,
further.
Yeah, it was just a pull miss or something. I don't know what it was. But
it was a big miss.
Yeah, but did you see Max Grayerson's shot?
No.
On the final hole.
No.
So basically, Vegas was tied with Grayson. Grayson finished like an hour earlier, shot an 8 under 63 or something like that. Yeah. He's hooked his tee shot way left. And Trevor Immelman's going, well, he's going to have to lay this up somehow. Yeah. He's over the ball, and I thought, he's not laying up. He's going at this. He had 250 yards, and he's got a 4-iron, and he hits this massive draw onto the left side onto the green, over the water. 2 putts for birdie to go into the lead. It was unbelievable. God. And then Vegas was a few holes back, so he makes a birdie to tie him, and then on the final hole, 2 putts for the win. So it was a great win for it
was a great 2-putt.
Yeah, because it was incredible.
It was from 90 feet, and they put up the stat that
30%
of pros 3-putt from 90 feet.
Sounds about right.
Do you reckon? I would have thought about 10.
Nah. Not from 90.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, trying to get it within a 6-foot circle, that'd be your ballpark. And then from 6 feet, it's 50-50 kind of thing.
So what do you reckon it was 2.5, 3 feet or 3?
It looked about 3, just over 3 feet. It was a very good first putt.
But I thought his second, like the 3-foot of the win,
boom,
automatic. Could not have put a better stroke on it.
Very impressive. Yeah. Very impressive, yeah. Best of the Australians with Cam Davis, tied for 19th, who was up in those last couple of groups, was going along nicely, but I think he knocked it in the water on the last, unfortunately.
He made a double.
Yeah. And Aaron Badley tied for 53rd. On the LPGA Tour, they had the CPKC Women's Open in Alberta, Canada, which is basically their Canadian Open.
Yep.
And Lauren Coughlin, great to see her come back after the disappointment at the Evian a couple of weeks ago, where she had the lead with a few holes to go and unfortunately stumbled towards the end. But she had an amazing 2-shot win over Japan's Mayo Saigo, and it's her first LPGA Tour win. But the third round leader, Heiron Ryu, this was interesting how it all came about. She had a 3-shot lead with 8 holes to go, was 1 up playing 16, had about a 12-footer to go, 2 up with 2 to go, 3 putts. 3 putts. So now all of a sudden she's tied on 17. Yeah. Coghlan hits the shot of the week. This beautiful 6-iron to 8 feet. Knocks it in. Rue 3 putts again.
Oh, you're kidding me.
So now she's 2 back and basically out of it. And Coghlan just played the last hole beautifully.
Good for her.
It was very impressive. But Hayron Rue, amazing golf swing, but she's got some demons to get over because that'll be a tough finish for her. So best of the Australasians, Lydia Ko was tied for 8th. Hannah Green, 14th. Hira Naveed had a good week, tied for 19th. Minji Lee, 37th. Sarah Kemp tied for 39th. And Robin Choi tied for 59th.
That's more than a handful of girls playing on the LPGA Tour.
And with about 3 or 4 were there as well, but unfortunately they missed the cut.
And I reckon we're going to sneak a few on next year. I mean, we might have
Cassie Porter will be on there next year,
from,
I'd say, for sure.
From Australasia playing on the big tour next year.
It's going to be great. On LIV Golf, they were in the UK. We're up in Uttoxeter, which is basically in the middle of England, not far from Derby. And funnily enough, my old caddy Wilbur sent me a picture of his wife and his daughter standing with Greg Shark.
Is that right?
Taking a photo, yeah, having a photo. I said, well, where's yours? And he just sent her back a laughing emoji. So he didn't get a photo with the shark. But anyway, good to see them out there.
He's not doing any more nude stuff on Instagram, Greg.
Who?
Greg Norman. He was the great white. He wasn't the great white shark there for a while. He was the great white nudist.
Maybe that was part of the contract for becoming
to settle
commissioner
down. To calm himself down.
Perhaps.
You might be right.
Who knows?
I don't think he was nude. He had,
you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
I saw the photos as well. But
there was some nudes of him on the front cover of a magazine where he was fully,
actually, didn't he
had the golf club or something in there?
The golf club in the right spot.
Yeah, he posed in some magazine or something.
The great white nudist is accurate.
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, you are right. I take it back. You're right.
And I think there was one of him on a beach where there was a hammerhead shark sighting or something. Remember that one?
There was some. There was a bit of action.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
Something was happening.
He's certainly been blessed.
Yes, good on him. But it was a double win for Legion 13 because the team actually had a 3-shot win over Team Ripper. Earlier in the week, see what happened to Mark Leishman.
No.
Played the first round.
Ended up in hospital.
Yeah, he had his appendix out.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, yeah, had appendicitis.
So they
Wade Ormsby, come on in, Wade.
Is that
he
right?
played the final 2 rounds for him, and they ended up finishing second.
So Wade was there, waiting in the wings.
They have the alternates. They're there. They get paid for being alternates, and if they happen to get the call up, away you go. I think there's 2 alternates, maybe. I think there's Wade and
100,000 to be an alternate.
I don't know what it is. It might be. Yeah, it could be. It might be half of that, I'd say. It's not bad. I'd like to be an alternate.
I'm going to find out.
Okay. You find out. Let's send Wade a message.
We spoke to Wade about this last time. I reckon it's 100,000 to be an alternate.
I don't think it's that much, but anyway.
All right.
He didn't tell us. He said, look, it's worth my while being there. So that makes sense. Okay.
I think it's $100,000.
Fair enough.
How many tournaments do they do?
14.
14. And if you, let's say it is $100,000, right? That's 1.4 mil just to sit on your ass and do nothing.
US.
But I think they rearranged the alternates. So I think it can't be 14. 14 times. No.
Okay. All right.
I think it's a bit of a merry-go-round.
Okay. Fair enough.
Gets those lucky chairs.
Anyway, Legion 13 had a 3-shot win over Team Ripper. John Rahm, who was upset with the crowd earlier in the week, got his first LIV win. He said his daughter and wife said to him before he went away on this 4-week trip, because they had to go away to play the Open and Valderrama and that, they said, bring home a trophy for us, Dad, and guess what? He did. He was very happy with that, obviously. He shot a final round 67 for a 1-shot win over Joaquin Neiman, Cameron Smith, who played very well as well, and Tyrrell Hatton, who 3-putted the last would have forced a playoff if he'd have 2-putted. So the tough one there for Tyrrell on his home
Did he control
turf.
Himself after the 3-putter?
He did. Yeah, he was seething, but he held it in nicely.
Okay.
He held it in nicely. So Team Ripper, they were the best team by 5 shots in that final round, with Matt Jones shooting 67, Lucas Herbert 67 as well, Cam Smith 69, and Wade Ormsby 71. So, because all 4 scores count, and that's
on
a
the
tough.
Last day.
So you got to, Wade probably thought, well, I got to play pretty well here, and he did. Out of the Aussies, Cam Smith obviously tied for second. Lucas Herbert finished tied for 20th. Matt Jones tied for 24th. And given Ormsby isn't in the individual, they just put him down the bottom there somewhere. On the Corn Ferry Tour, they were in Illinois, where, remember how I was talking about Carl Phillips, how good he's been going? He almost won. He shot a final round 63, but he got beaten by a shot by German Thomas Rossenmuller.
No.
But the good news for Carl is he moves up to number 44 on the money list now, so he is really making moves.
And he gets in next week.
That's only his 4th or 5th start on the Corn Ferry Tour this week.
He's basically got in off his top 10 finishing
Yeah, I think it's top 25, actually.
Wow.
I think
Good
each
on
week's
you.
top.
It's
So you
big.
just keep doing that, and away you go. The other Aussies, it's good to see Curtis Luck back over there. He's had a bit of a break from the Corn Ferry Tour, but he finished tied for 36th. Rain Gibson, 53rd, and Kazuma Kobori was actually playing tied for 60th. Must have got an invite in there, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
On the Challenge Tour, we had the Northern Irish Open in Galgorm, where Irishman Conor Purcell held his nerve for a one-shot win over Sweden's Joachim Lagergren, and Tom Parahoran was over there playing tied for 21st. So well done, Tom.
Well done, Tom.
And that is this week's Ping Global Results.
Time for the masterclass. Thanks to the Watch My Numbers app, which is the most powerful database golf app in the world. You can download from Google Play or the App Store and play smarter by using your data.
Righto, this week I watched Richard Green, and I've known Richard Green for a long, long time. We won a Division 1 pennant final together at Huntingdale, and we recruited him, and we had some fabulous players in that team. It was ridiculous. We actually beat Robert Allenby and Stuart Appleby in the final to win the Division 1 pennant in 1990.
Hang on. He wasn't one of the Huntingdale 7, was he?
No, Richard was not.
Okay.
I wouldn't think Richard would have been.
No.
But
No,
I haven't
not.
seen him swing it much better. He's swinging it pure.
Unbelievable. His swing has hardly changed since the first time I saw him when he was 16 years old. But when I watch him swing the club, you watch the guys who work out in the gym and they hit the ball a million miles. You can see the effort that they are using in their backswing. And when I play with people, in the Wednesday comp or amateurs in other places, a lot of their effort seems to be in the backswing. Where when you watch the girls play, or when you watch Richard Green play, when you watch these beautifully balanced people play, Nick, I'm putting you in this category as well because you had the most beautifully balanced follow through in golf.
Well, when you don't swing it that hard, it's easy to be balanced.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is one the reasons I'm using it as a masterclass. When you watch Richard Green swing the club, his backswing is effortless. I mean, one, it doesn't look like he's going at it more than 80%. 85%, I reckon, on the way through is as hard as he's swinging. But he's not making a big effort in his backswing. And when you do this, when you make a conscious effort not to make much effort in the backswing, it also brings down the tension in your backswing. And when you bring down the tension in your golf swing, your muscles loosen up and you end up making a bigger shoulder turn just so naturally. So what I'm telling you, folks, is next time you're on the driving range and you want to take something nice to the golf course, how is it every time on the driving range you stand there and it feels so easy? Everyone is a range god the way they hit the golf ball. Every time, there's so many people hit the ball beautifully on the range and then they take what they think is right to the golf course and all of a sudden the effort comes from the clouds. Instead of making these big effort backswings, just think about it next time. Just try it. Just make your backswing 80% effort. It'll get rid of all the tension in your backswing and hopefully those beautiful shots that you hit on the driving range, you might start to see them when you're actually on the golf course.
Love it.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, when you watch it? When you go down and watch the pros practice, right, the best players in the world, I every once in a while I get to do it these days. At the Australian Open a couple of years ago, I just couldn't get over how easy everyone's backswing looked. Everybody on the range looks like their backswing is at 80% effort.
Effortless power, not powerless effort.
Thank you very much. That's the masterclass for this week.
We've got a lot of feedback, so we're going to do a bonus podcast, Q&A podcast, a little later in the week. I hesitate to even say this, and I'm looking at you, Nick. He has that twinkle in his eye. I know he wants to tell this joke.
I'll tell you what, let's let him tell it, but if it's no good, we're editing out this whole section.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Just you guys leave the room, run the credits, and then I'll tell the joke at the end. And if you want to hear the joke, you can hear it.
Okay, perfect. All right. See you boys. See ya.
And thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me. We appreciate you listening and getting involved. And a huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Without them, the show just wouldn't be the same. Watch my numbers. Download the app and turn your bogeys into birdies by analysing and improving your game like never before. The Golf Clearance Outlet. Awesome prices on great gear. You can see them in Melbourne, Sydney, Brizzy, Perth, and online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. And Ping. See your local golf shop or professional to arrange a Ping Club fitting. They'll help you play your best. If Ping's good enough for Nick O'Hearn, well, that says it all. And we'd love you to get involved with the show. You can leave a voicemail with any comments or questions at talkbirdietome.com.au or send an email or comment on the socials. And if you can share the pod with a friend, well, we'd love that. Talk Birdie to Me's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media. Sound design, Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com.
So this guy walks into a doctor's office and he's got a pea in each ear and a carrot in each nostril. And he looked at the doctor and said, "Hey, doc, I'm not feeling very well." And the doctor said, "Well, you're not eating right."